Welcome, everybody. It is Sunday, October 23rd, 2022. Can you believe that? And it is the Morgellons Call of the Week. I am Robin, the co-host from Western Mass, and today we have Chris from the Morgellons store as our special guest. It's very exciting. And, of course, we have Richard Kuhns, the author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons and Other Skin Parasites. Richard is a leading expert, world-leading expert, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, for Morgellons and other skin parasites because he's been through them. He's found solutions. He researches. He never stops learning. He invented the King Diet, which is in itself amazing. And I personally don't think anything works without the diet, yeah. So Richard has been in the trenches, and he's here to help us. He answers questions, he answers emails, and if you email Richard and some fall through the cracks, he gets so many. Just email him again. He's not putting you off. He tries to answer every email. I know that. So he's here every Sunday. You can ask him questions here, and we have a community that you can be part of to help you get your life back. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Richard Kuhns, author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons and Other Skin Parasites.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you for all those kind words. It's a pleasure to be here, and today we do have a special topic. We have one almost every week. Today, last week, near the tail end of the call, the topic of enzymes came up, and we had a very good discussion. Chris enlightened us a lot about enzymes. So I thought it would be a good thing to announce for the general population today, for people who may have missed last week's call, to get the down and dirty about how enzymes work. I doubt that there's anybody on the call who has not heard of Clean Green. It's basically the well-known enzyme cleaner that is out there. Many of you may have used it, or maybe you are still using it. And we looked at handling that brand and decided to go with what we feel is a better brand, and we have the Clean 'em Up Zymes. Now, we will be getting into some technical discussions, and I don't want anybody to come to any assumptions about us giving you medical advice. So I need to inform you, according to the FDA, that before you start the King Diet or accept any of my recommendations or those of my coaches, that you are to discuss them thoroughly with your medical doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems you're presently experiencing. And then when we look at what physicians do, the AMA, the American Medical Association, and the FDA, require us, because we are not medically trained, we have not gone through that rigorous training that medical doctors do go through. So we are not licensed to diagnose, treat, cure, or mitigate any organic disease, any skin disease, okay? So we will do none of that. We do not diagnose, treat, cure, or mitigate the disease. But what we can do is to educate you how to utilize the King Diet. Now, the King Diet is it. I mean, if you're in this program and you don't want to do a diet, well, you're not in this program. This program is about the King Diet. When you make the diet work, it's like a night and day difference. It's like one night you go to bed and you wake up at 3 a.m. and you're itching and jumping in the tub and going for some kind of relief and feeling crazy. And once you make that diet work, well, you go to bed and you sleep through the night and rarely feel an itch. It's it can be that phenomenal. And so our goal is to make the diet work. And for some, that's pretty easy. You just follow the easy instructions. There are even recipes in Chapter 5 and Chapter 4 of my book. Tells you all about the diet and how to test foods for yourself and so on. So for many people, it's easy. For others, they have to keep a diary, as explained in Chapter 4, and see how they react to certain foods. And there may actually be foods that are on the eat list that, for them, for a period of time, is out. So, and also Candida albicans can be an issue, in which case then the diet has to be further restricted, and we need to get rid of all grains. We do get rid of wheat, and we get rid of barley, and we get rid of oats. Those grains are gone, but the acceptable grains, rice, millet, and rye, sometimes we need to even get rid of them when you're dealing with Candida albicans to get to a point where your digestive system is fully functioning and working, and then you can introduce those foods. So the King diet is it's the thing to make work. Now, we can educate you, as I said, how to utilize and get you to make the King diet work. Then we can educate you how to clean your skin, how to bathe utilizing Epsom salts and disinfectants and nature's gift debriding soap or whatever you have to get the organisms out of your skin. And then, because unknowingly to us, we have, until you get a handle on this thing, we have become walking, talking, breeding machines. That means until you make the diet work, these organisms are breeding and multiplying inside you and coming to the skin. And even as you clean them out of your skin, they're self-replicating, and it's a never-ending process until you make the diet work. So once you make the diet work, then that process really slows down, perhaps even stops. But what this means is that while they have been multiplying, everywhere you have been going, you have been shedding them. They either are just simply falling off in forms of filaments into your environment, or jumping off of you, as in springtails, columbella, and infesting your environment. And that means even after you get yourself totally clean, once you go back into that environment, you can become reinfected. So the third step is to how to clean up your surroundings, how to disinfect your surroundings. And there are different ways of doing it. The simplest and easy, as was for me, is simply spraying ammonia. And spraying ammonia, my furniture, flooring, tables, bedding, washing my clothing, and that's another part of your surroundings, is disinfecting your clothing and your laundry. So all of this, for me, ammonia was the trick, easy. But over the years, I found that ammonia isn't necessarily beneficial or works for everyone. So there are many things in Chapter 3, which is important to read, about how to disinfect your environment. So if ammonia, for some reason or other, doesn't work, either in your laundry or your environment, you need to step up your game. So there are various disinfectants that are mentioned and explained in the book. And one of the things that are used, as I mentioned before, are enzymes. So how do you use enzymes? You can use them in your laundry, you can use them in your surroundings, and I believe you can even bathe with them. But our resident expert is Chris. because Chris did the research about how they work and investigated to find the best and most effective enzymes in the world that we know of to bring into our store, into our clean 'em up zymes. So I have Chris with us here today to give us a rundown on how they work. Now, they worked with Morgellons, they worked with mites, they worked with Columbola, but as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, they are not useful with fungal issues, of fungus in the environment. Is that correct, Chris?
Yes, it is correct.
Okay, so tell us how they work. Say with mites, and people have asked me about, well, what about insects? Ants and flies and things, midges and things like that. So can you give us an explanation about how they work? What does an enzyme do when it comes in contact with an organism of that nature?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Richard. I'm just going to give a little bit of introduction about enzymes, and then, like we talked about last week, we're going to talk about how enzymes work on the insects that we are mostly interested. Those are the parasites and the mites, different kinds of mites. So I want to welcome everybody to a fascinating world of enzymes. Enzymes are found in all living things. Life could not exist without them. Enzymes are a part of a group of organic proteins known as amino acids that are found in all living things. They are old as life itself. Without enzymes, there would be no life. Almost all activities of life depend on them. Enzymes are responsible for leaves turning green in the spring and the summer, and vegetables becoming ripe, and the way we digest our food then being absorbed as a nutrition. Without enzymes, seeds could not sprout, and soil could not recycle nutrition. Therefore, fruits and crops could not grow. There are thousands of different enzymes that are naturally occurring and found everywhere on the earth. Now, we're going to be touching only on the enzymes that is on the clean 'em up zyme. It is a formulation done keeping it in the mites and other pheromone-driven insects, not necessarily Morgellons or Columbola, but it was only designed for mites, but it also may work because it's a parasite. Anything which has got a soft tissue, enzymes can penetrate and do their magic. As a whole, enzymes should be thought of as a take-charge catalyst. Catalyst means something that makes two or more things come together and perform an action. And they perform an action, but they themselves do not become part of that action. So an analogy would be using fire to cook food. The fire is compared to an enzyme. In that way, the fire cooks the food, but it does not become part of it. You do not eat the fire, but the fire does not eat the food. Yet, without fire, you would not be able to cook or eat food. Enzymes break down the complex materials into more simpler materials that can be digested by animals, plants, or environment, that is including us. Some of the common examples involving a catalytic action of enzymes are: you add fertilizer to the soil around a tomato seedling. Enzymes in the soil help and supply the available nutrients to the seedlings to root. They also recycle the nutrients back into the soil. You have green tomatoes that need to ripen. You put them in a windowsill where the warmth of the sun causes the natural enzyme inside the tomato to become active and turn the tomatoes red. When you are chewing food, specific enzymes in your saliva start the digestive process, which is then continued in your stomach by other enzymes. They break down the starches, fats, and proteins of your body needs and live and allows your body to absorb the nutrients. But that doesn't mean we're going to talk about, although we have digestive enzymes in our store, Ceracor, AgroRelief, we have another enzyme that we take it internally for digestive purposes. For chitinase enzyme, it is also going to kill organisms inside our gut system. So enzymes are small biochemical digesters. They have a power to break apart vitamins, minerals, proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and etc., and make them easily absorbed. Remember that the enzymes do not become part of the end product, but they do make the process possible. With the use of enzymes, you can do many things. You can stimulate and improve water's appearance naturally, repel parasites, sanitize an area, dissolve waste more quickly, or extend the life of the cut flowers and Christmas trees. Now, enzymes are a part of a group of organic proteins known as amino acids that are found in all the living things. Now, why Clinimup works and what is the formulation or the secret behind our formulation? Insects are made up of high concentration of protein. Clinimup contains an active ingredient, which is a combination of 4 different enzymes that causes the insect to molt. That means shed the outermost coating prematurely. Poison pesticides attack the nervous system of the insect, which is not always effective. University research has noted that some insects have developed resistance to poison-based products. This revolutionary product that what we have is available for us, and it is also called preformed enzymes, which is widely used in the restaurant, institutional settings for the last 15 to 20 years. Due to their low toxicity and superior cleaning properties, they are also become widely accepted in the field of pest control and using using enzymes as pests in the pest control. But the only thing is we cannot use the word kill is because the EPA has got a restriction on that. Like whenever we say something that kills, we have to register with them. But now the enzymes what we have, that is the Clinimup is actually safe. It is generally considered as safe product. It has got a abbreviation given by the EPA as GRAS, generally considered as safe. It is also a natural alternative to toxic products. It is fast acting, does not produce any toxic fumes, extremely economical when compared to clean green, and also when it compares to our own NG, more effective and safer than pesticides. Clinimup natural enzymes that are biodegradable and safe for people, pets, and environment. We formulated Clinimup to be environmentally friendly as a responsible stewards of our nature. The products are more effective and yet very affordable. Our nature is always best. So we want to use something which is very, very close to our nature. The active ingredients in our Clinimup is protease, amylase, cellulase, and lipase, derived from yeast strains, and FDA is considered this as good grade ingredients and generally regarded as safe. That is the part list as 184 and 186 as the CFR. This product is not a pesticide. It is exempt from registration as a FIFRA, Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, that is being given the exemption of 25B product. So all natural enzymes which are bacteria free, our natural enzymes products can be effective in outdoor and indoor settings. Even if you have like chicken and farm animals, horses, or anything, they can be used on them also. They will not, you can wash them off into the regular water. They won't actually contaminate the environment or put poison in the environment. They'll wash up and they will stay and they can become part of the environment. Our product is actually natural based and food grade enzymes, meaning this is not the enzymes that is used for, like I said, there are several many thousands of different enzymes. Ours is especially food grade, meaning that it can be used closer to consuming it, but we don't recommend using to consume it because the formulation and something called, if you take something internally, we need to study what we call as the adverse drug reaction. So this needs to be more tested, and what are the different formulations, the percentage, and the acidic environment of your stomach, and what kind of enzymes you produce in your body on your own, all needs to be taken into consideration. But however, there are a lot of clinical trials going on enzymes, not only to be used as a pesticide, but to be used as a normal, to start using it on for the poultry, for cleaning poultry, feeding the horses, the farm animals, livestock, and stuff like that before they can move on to giving internal this particular enzymes to internal use for people. But however, there are a lot of enzymes. One of the enzymes is chitinase that we have on our store, can be taken internally, which is tested and which is ready to be used internally. Now, cleaning up enzymes is biodegradable and safe for people, pets, and environment. We formulated this to be environmentally friendly, and it also does maintaining clean water for animals, parasite prevention and reduction, maintaining clean water in lakes and ponds, pool cleaning and upkeep, cleaning animal enclosures and pens and chicken coops, whatever you have. So we have a wide range of uses for our cleaning of enzymes. And if there is any interest, I want to talk about something called as the hydrolytic enzymes that is being widely tested in the industry of pest control for animals and domestic animals and other things that we'll be doing. If anybody is interested, then we can take care of it. So Richard asked me a question, like how does this work? The insects make a formidable opponent because they are protected by strong exoskeletons, hardened shells that cover them like a suit of armor, having the locomotion of a tank. It is an exoskeleton that has mostly challenged pest control. Until now, enzyme is the key, and enzyme has overcome a lot of these exoskeleton problems. Because the insect's exoskeleton is hard shell, made of a non-living material, it does not grow in size with the insect's development, meaning the shell is there, the outer covering is there, but it does not develop as the insect grows. Therefore, it is necessary for the insects to shed their exoskeletons several times during the course of their life. They accomplish this by using an enzyme they create naturally to split open their exoskeleton and thus grow larger. It is during this molting phase that an insect is most vulnerable, susceptible to drying out or drowning, since the hard shell that normally would protect them has been cast off. The surface of every insect exoskeleton is covered with a waxy, water-repellent patina known as the cuticle. The outer coating protects the insect from harm and thus being a big obstacle for the pesticide to be effective. The chemicals must penetrate the cuticle in order to affect the insect. So pesticide companies employ a variety of volatile solvents, caustic dust, and light oils in order to cut through the cuticle and thus deliver the poison into the insect interior. The solution to cracking the cuticle of an insect's exoskeleton was discovered through the observation of insect entomology. Insects employ enzymes to escape their exoskeletons by utilizing the cultured enzymes that mimic those found in nature. A natural form of biological pesticide can be produced and thus the ability to dismantle the armor of insect instantly. Now, this is the science behind how the enzyme cleaner works. And we have other things that how the enzyme cleaner works, and we have used in the cheese manufacturing, in beer manufacturing, bread, so many different industries use to do the fermentation and other stuff. And we don't use the same exact enzymes, but they are generally all of them are enzymes. So I want to stop here, and I want to give a small little story for the people who wanted to use enzymes or not only struggling with Morgellons and suffering with Columella. I just want to give a small little story from the Bible. It is about a Syrian army officer who suffers from leprosy. And when they attack the Israelites, they bring a girl, Israel girl, as a maid to keep in their home. And he has a leprosy, and leprosy on those days is considered very, very unclean, and it is a curse from God. So he has to be out of the city in order to live inside the city. He cannot come in contact with anybody. But this little girl maid who they captured during the raid or during the war, she says that I have somebody in Israel, if you could go there, and he will heal you. So the army officer goes, he got all the messages, he gets a lot of ornaments, he gets gifts and everything because he wants to get rid of the problem. He goes to the home of Elisha, and Elisha's assistant comes and asks, like, what's your problem? And he says that somebody told me that if I come to Elisha, he's going to cure me of my leprosy. And Elisha never even comes out. He tells his servant, go back and tell the Syrian commander that to go wash 7 times in the river Jordan, and then he will be healed. So hearing this Syrian army officer is really upset because that was not the answer he was expecting. He was expecting that he would come outside, he will take the name of the Lord, he will do some rituals, he will touch him, bless him. He had a certain things in his mind that has to come through in his mind, but that didn't happen. So he goes very much rejected, and he's somewhat angry also. Being a Syrian officer, he could actually kill Elisha. But he just takes off and he says, I'm not going to go to the dirty river Jordan. We don't have any other rivers in Damascus and Syria. I'm not going to be bothered with that. So he goes home, not healed. But then the girl in the house, she says that you should at least listen, just take a chance and go there and wash yourself. Then finally he goes, he gets healed. So the moral of the story, what I want to say is, if you have some kind of a perception in your mind that this is the way my illness is going to heal, and that perception is not coming through, like you have, I need a doctor, I need to take this, I need to do this, those kind of things in your mind, whatever is this, can be totally wrong, your perception. So accept the notion that whatever is being used by other people, that Richard gives a lot of different ways and different methodology to adopt and to do. We are doing our best to do the research, and he does, and Robin does, and we will give you the best tools for you to fight this disease. And I'm thankful to this opportunity for Richard, Robin, and all of you, and I want to bless each one of you, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I learned quite a bit. Now, okay, so we can use the clean 'em up zymes in the environment to spray and destroy Columella and Morgellons and mites. How do we use it in the bathtub? Can we use the bathtub?
Yes, we can use them in the bathtub, depending upon what they want to do. If you want to clean up the mold or the other things like the slimy stuff that builds up on the tub, it's a different concentration. But you want to do it on yourself, it's a different concentration you have to use. It can be used as a laundry soap and different concentration. It can be used on the environment to spray it on your body.
Well, you said to clean the mold in the bathtub. I thought the enzymes were not effective against mold.
Not mold, but the scum that thing.
The scum. Okay.
Scum, yeah.
All right.
It's not. Yeah, I'm sorry. It is something like the very slippery stuff we use, Clorox and other things. Rub them, they become a little bit darkish in color, brownish in color. Those things enzymes will address.
Okay. Now, if I'm using in a bathtub, how much do you know how much I would add to a bathtub if I want to use it as I'm in the bathtub myself? to
You're
bathe
going
with?
to use it on you to clean up, or you
Yeah,
want to clean the
can I
bath?
use it? Can I use it that way in the bathtub? Just with add the water, add it to the water for me
Yes,
to take.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, you can.
Now, would I add? How about if I add Epsom salts to that, or borax, or will that have any impact on the enzymes, or even nature's gift?
No, nature's gift actually will actually destroy the enzymes, uh, and even I think boron and Epsom salt, it will do the same thing, because what enzymes do naturally is they are live organisms, and anything you introduce externally, we have to be careful, because they may not die completely, but their effectiveness will come down.
Okay, so in the bathtub, if we're going to take a bath with enzymes, we do not want to add any disinfectants or any nature's gift even, because it could destroy the living organisms that are supposed to work for us.
Yes, yes.
How about?
The second thing is adding something else, it defeats the purpose, because enzymes is organic. It's a holistic solution. So
Right.
we suggest that we use, let's say, ammonia to make it better. Not only ammonia will kill the enzymes, then the purpose of holistic goes away. We want to stay holistic and we want to remain that way, and then it will be better to leave the enzymes alone.
So we're talking about ammonia. We would be talking about maybe doing our laundry and the washing machine. We
Yes.
would use the enzymes only by themselves and not with anything else, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And generally when people do this, they do their laundry twice. They do it with only the enzymes, and then they might do it with ammonia or something else later, but they would not mix the enzymes and even nature's gift or even our laundry soap with them, because even our laundry soap could destroy the enzymes or impede their ability to do their job.
Yes.
Okay.
Enzymes become a little bit more agitated and active if you use warm water. If you use cold water, they're still active. But if you use hot water, you can kill them. But if you use lukewarm water, little bit more than the touch of the temperature of the body temperature, little bit more than that, it aggravates them, and then they become more active and become more effective.
Oh, great. So I'm glad you pointed that out. So the temperature of the water is also important. So that would be the bath water if you're using them in the bath, or the laundry if you're using them in your washing machine.
Yes.
Have them a little warm, but not hot. Hot would not be good, and cold would make them lazy. You don't want cold enzymes, lazy enzymes.
If you're using our laundry soap or enzymes, you don't need to use that fabric softener or fabric softener towels that the paper we put in to avoid static, because there is no static build up when we use this product. And if you have any skin conditions that aggravates you, instead of using the soap, our laundry soap has proven very well in the people who are suffering from eczema, psoriasis, and other kind of skin conditions. But also you can use any garment that touches your skin with pure enzymes. And in order, if you want to use it concentrated, you think that there are other organisms in there, use a little bit of concentrated, but run the soap cycle twice. Once you'll run the soap, you'll put the enzymes, you'll wash this machine, and the second time you'll start the machine, but don't add anything. So it will be purely 2 times rinsing. One is a wash cycle and the other is a rinse cycle. That's the second time. Will take away everything. So your clothing, which comes in contact within your body, will be 100% without any kind of chemicals.
That's a good point, Chris, because I've had a few updates about the fabric softener and detergents that people generally use, and it's really important. I mean, the big corporations that produce Tide and what are these? Some of these trade names, they have chemicals in them. And even Downy fabric softener has chemicals in them. And the detergents have whiteners in them. And the whiteners actually are dyes that stick to the clothes and accumulate on your clothing and can be dangerous to your skin, causing rashes and all kinds of problems. And there's sodium lauryl sulfate in most of the detergents or other chemicals that can contribute to rashes. And many people are sensitive, and they realize this, and they don't use these. But for many of us, we don't realize that we have maybe light sensitivities. And when you add in Morgellons and other skin parasites, well, it's not going to be so easy getting rid of them as long as you're using detergents and Downy fabric softener. So please get rid of it.
Yeah, and also when you use let's say you use the soaps all these years, and then you decided, okay, I'm going to use enzymes today. And when you use enzyme and wash the clothes, even though you did it twice, it's not going to go away because there's residual in your clothing. After so many years, it becomes part of the fabric.
That's true.
See it, it's not recognizable, but the residual can be removed by repeatedly washing in enzyme. You did it today, and the next wash use the enzyme again. In the couple of washes, it will get rid of all the residuals from things that were sticking into your clothes. Now, talking about the residual, the cleanup enzyme does not have any residual effects, meaning that if you spray cleanup enzyme in a corner and there are no mites or pests or bugs in that corner, it is not going to do anything for the pests. The pests or the mites or the parasites should come in contact with the enzymes. It's a contact killer. You cannot spray there in this corner and expect in the next corner, like 4 feet away from where you sprayed, for the product to be effective. It will not do anything. It's a contact killer. The insects, the bugs, the mites needs to come in contact with this product, and that's why we recommend the electrostatic spray. So it spreads everywhere.
Right. So the electrostatic sprayer is the ultimate way of utilizing these enzymes with your surroundings, because it puts on an electronic charge on the spray as it comes out of the sprayer. So that means it's going to get into crevices and behind things that otherwise you wouldn't get with just simply spraying. I do want to reiterate one point that I'm not sure if while you were discussing it, if it really became clear, but when people are looking at using the enzymes with mites and other organisms, even insects, it only works with insects or organisms that have no eyes, no way of visually seeing. Would you clear that up? Like, it won't work with an ant, it won't work with a fly because they have visual capabilities.
Yes. Anything with a pheromone-driven insect, meaning this insect or a particular group of insects, they operate only through smell. It's effective for that. The mites, bed bugs, cockroaches, mosquitoes are very good examples. Any insect that operates by looking, or they have the eye, when they have the eye, they also have a respiratory system to breathe. So the pheromone-driven insects, their respiration is through the body. There are small little holes in their underbelly called stomata, and those are the ones they breathe. They don't have a lungs and nostrils like we do or the other insects have. So this enzyme is very effective in those kind of insects because it works very well. And they also, if you look at them, these pheromone-driven insects are useless. They don't contribute anything back to the nature. There are a few exceptions that came to light. This was a study and research done in India. It's a soft shell insects that will be very effective with enzymes. Now, the other thing I want to tell about enzymes is very important is because it does not use chemicals, the insects cannot actually type the chemical formula. Like if I use pyrethrin, over time the insects can know what a pyrethrin is, and they develop antibody in their body. Maybe they die, their offspring, their children, or their to second generation or third generation bugs, they will be resistant to pyrethrin automatically. So that's why there is called super bugs, or even super bugs in head lice. And super head lice meaning they are not going to die using the normal over-the-counter products. Now with the enzymes, what it does is it actually does not use any chemicals. It actually penetrates the body and makes sure it signals their own system to that the exoskeleton is ready to come out. So they molt prematurely, they freeze, and they die. So there is no neurotoxins involved. There is no nerve agent used in enzymes. Enzyme naturally kills these insects. Now, we cannot go randomly and spray everywhere, although it has been found out that enzymes is very effective only for the non-beneficial insects. They are not effective for honeybees, ladybugs, and other things like aphids. They die if you use enzymes. So there are a few exceptions to that. They recently researched that different concentration of enzyme can kill a beneficial insect. So they are actually working on that to differentiate. Like if you have this particular type of insect, even though it's a non-beneficial to us, it may be beneficial to the environment in one way. So they don't want us to randomly spray this product and kill everything in the environment. So one, it is very good to use this product is because those insects cannot become resistant. Two, it's a contact killer, and it is very useful for pheromone-driven insects.
Great. Thank you very much, Chris. Robin, you have anything to ask Chris or Mary?
Can you use it in your hair?
Yes, you can put it in your hair. Yeah, diluted, you can use it in your hair.
Okay. I find this all very interesting. Thank you.
But of course, you wouldn't put it. You would only use it by itself. You wouldn't put in oils or essential oils or Nature's Gift shampoo or anything. It would simply only be by itself, warm water.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, the enzymes can even kill head lice. If you have head lice in your hair, they also dissolve to a certain extent the nits. So when we researched about our own NG, whether it will dissolve the nits and whether it will kill the head lice, our NG did a fantastic results came out. A lice technician whose job is to go to house by house to get rid of the lice infestation actually tested our product. She's in Georgia, and she technically researched our product, and she did come up with this product that our product works very well, not only with the normal lice, but with the super bugs. But on top of that, she said that it can get rid of, or it softens the glue that the head lice attaches to the strand of hair and then leaves its eggs or lays its eggs. So the eggs are actually attached to the strand of hair with a small little protein called a kind of a glue, and that is very hard to dissolve. So our product, what is in the store, when you put that one on, leave it 15 minutes and use this comb, it will actually dissolve the knit-bearing protein that is attached to the brand of hair. And mostly you should concentrate on the back of your neck. That is where the head lice, if you see anybody who is pointing, exactly take like a finger and go in between their two bones, the occipital bone in their neck, and they touch in the softer area and they itch there, that is technically a telltale sign of a head lice, because they congregate there, it's warm, and they can suck blood, and that's where they are there. If it has become big of an infestation, you will see them all around the head. but they usually are on the back, lower back of the neck, and where you need to concentrate, and that's where you need to comb to get rid of the nits, to get rid of the head lice, and then they get rid of the eggs that is attached to the hair strand.
Great, thank you.
Can you, do you think you could, like, mix up a combination of the enzyme and water and put it in a spray bottle, and then you could just, like, spray it on your head as needed? Or
yes, you
do you
can.
need to wash it off? Okay.
No, you
Right,
you can use that. Yeah, you can use that.
Awesome.
Great.
That's great. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Well, then that concludes this portion of the program.